Hi everyone, today is Thursday, March 26th, and believe it or not, we are just about, we're less than 3 weeks away from Easter. Um, so, usually on campus during this time, as we're celebrating Lent, we would have some sort of on campus opportunity to go through the Stations of the Cross. Clearly, we can't do that right now, but instead, we thought we'd offer some sort of virtual offering of the Stations of the Cross. So, for the next 14 days, we'll be going through one station of the cross each day, and that'll bring us right up until up to Holy Thursday of Holy Week. So, we hope that you'll tune in and go through each of the stations with us each day. The version of the prayers that we're going to be using, or of each of the stations' reflections that we're going to be using, comes from the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, from their Department of Justice, Peace, and Human Development. So they created a special version of the Stations of the Cross that focuses on overcoming racism. So each of the reflections that we'll offer for each of the stations has to do with racism and overcoming racism. It's also significant to point out that racism is one of the critical concerns of the Sisters of Mercy. So it's sort of perfect timing, and it fits in pretty well with, in line with our core values and our mission as a mercy institution, as well as, acknowledging our Lenten season and acknowledging that racism is very prevalent in our world today, and that it is something we should always be keeping in our prayers and being prayerful about. So today we'll go through the first station, and tomorrow the next one, and so forth and so forth. There are, in each of the stations, there's a point for the leader to speak and then for everyone to respond. Obviously, I'm here alone right now, but I'll say both parts. But I'm also going to include a link down at the bottom of the page so that you can tune in. You can click on the link and you can read along as you watch each of the reflections. And it probably won't be me that does this every day, but other members of our staff and other members of our student community might chime in as well. So today we'll start with the first station, and if you'll join me, take a nice deep breath and enter into our prayer and reflection together. The first station: Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. All of us respond, because by your holy cross, you have redeemed the world. Pilate said to them, "Why? What evil has he done?" They only shouted the louder, "Crucify him." So Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas to them, and, after he had Jesus scourged, handed him over to be crucified. An innocent man is about to be killed, and the laws of the land will not protect him. A crowd has gathered, not to protest, but to cheer. Government leaders are indifferent, more concerned about politics than justice. Racism leads to many forms of injustice, sometimes death, sometimes imprisonment, sometimes closed doors and lost opportunities. We may not be in a crowd cheering the evil deed, but are we indifferent? It is easy to remain silent, even though we may have an opportunity to speak up. Do we object to an inappropriate joke? Do we advocate for justice when we have access to people in power? Do we work to open doors in the workplace? Will we be like Pilate and the crowd? Or will we use our opportunities to create opportunities for others? All of us respond, Christ Jesus, you were a victim of injustice, condemned by those who had the power to save you, and ignored by those who might have spoken up on your behalf. Help us to use the opportunities we have to speak out against the injustices around us, knowing that you desire justice for all. So that's the first station, and I invite you to visit that page and read through it as well, and spend some time in quiet reflection just thinking about those questions. Do we stand up for the people who need us to stand up for them, and are we indifferent? Spend some time in prayer and reflection, and come visit us tomorrow for our second station, where Jesus takes up his cross. Bye, everyone.